Compound probability. Math terms and definitions. The text introduces several key mathematical terms. Here are the terms identified and their meanings as explained in the text and defined by online dictionaries. Probability. The text uses this term as the foundational concept for the lesson. It is the measure of the likelihood that an event will occur. Compound probability. This is the main focus of the lesson. Meaning in the text, the probability of two or more events happening. Online dictionary definition, the likelihood of two or more independent events occurring. It is calculated by multiplying the probability of the first event by the probability of the second event. Independent events, meaning in the text, events where one event has no effect on the other. The text gives an example of receiving a text message and it raining outside. These two events are not connected. Online dictionary definition, two events are independent if the occurrence of one does not affect the probability of the occurrence of the other. Dependent events, meaning in the text, events where one event does have an effect on another. The text provides an example of a snowstorm causing flight cancellations, which in turn causes someone to miss a meeting. Online dictionary definition, events in which the outcome of one event affects the outcome of the other. The probability of the second event is conditional on the outcome of the first event. Key concepts summarized. The core ideas presented in the math story are: compound probability is the probability of multiple events happening. To understand compound probability, it is essential to distinguish between independent and dependent events. Independent events are disconnected and do not influence each other's outcomes. Dependent events are linked, and the outcome of one directly affects the probability of the other. Step-by-step learning for students. The story is structured to guide students through the concepts in a clear, step-by-step manner. 1. Introduction with a relatable story. The lesson begins with a real-world example of a basketball player's free throws to introduce the idea of multiple events and their probabilities in a familiar context. 2. Formal definition. It then provides a clear and simple definition of compound probability. 3. Categorization. The lesson introduces the two main types of events in compound probability, independent and dependent events. 4. Defining and illustrating independent events. Students learn the definition of an independent event, reinforced with a straightforward example, text messages and rain. 5. Defining and illustrating dependent events. The concept of a dependent event is then defined and illustrated with a story that shows a clear chain of cause and effect. Snowstorm implies flight cancellation implies missed meeting. 6. Reinforcement with a simple example. The lesson concludes with a simple, classic probability example, tossing a coin twice, to solidify the understanding of independent events and challenge students to apply what they've learned. 7. Independent practice. The lesson encourages students to think about and identify different types of events on their own.